Okay, it's time for me to look at the winner of the introduction number 74. So you've seen the question: do you agree or disagree rich countries should help developing countries with other types of help instead of sending financial aid? Yes or no? So, word count first, we've got 309 words. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll take a look at the scores. I'm going to refer to the criteria a bit later on. I'll just get the criteria up. Where are we? Yes, I'll be using this. And I do have a sample essay. Now, it's not worded precisely the same, but it is the same theme or topic, essentially. So, do you agree? Yes or no? And the second question, what are the other factors required to solve this? 300 words. And you'll see when we read it that it's essentially the same issue. Because if you agree, what you would have to do here for paragraph number 3 is to say what other type of help you would have to give them. So although it's not worded in the same way, it is essentially the same question or topic. So, sentence 1, we simply need to restate the topic. What can we do that in the examples? So like, sending financial aid to poor parts of the world is not successful in reducing poverty. Richer nations, instead of sending financial assistance, should provide other types of assistance, or or something such as that. I agree because reason. Example. So okay, now so what we've got here, that's not quite the same. So rich countries can support developing nations to tackle their domestic issues. Well, yeah, but it's specifically poverty, in the form of giving financial aid or providing. So there's not a contradiction there. So there should be a contrast in that opening sentence. It says they give cash, but it doesn't work, so we need to do something else. But you have such as poverty in the form of giving financial aid but you don't specifically say that it doesn't work. You don't actually say that, because here it says it doesn't work, but here you say they can support developing nations in the form of giving financial aid, but you don't say that it doesn't work or providing. So, and I would put the other kinds of help in sentence 2. Right? So I think poorer countries need to have better education system, health, like care, instead of giving money to them. So those two sentences need to be reworked. It's not precisely what it says in the topic. Okay, so do you agree or not that other type of help is needed? Many economically disadvantaged countries, 6 obstacles that should be addressed. Okay, but it's specifically poverty. It's specifically poverty. Why are you talking about this? The specific issue is poverty. Developing countries are very poor. Lots of people are very poor, so they can't buy food or things. Okay, it's poverty. That's the issue. So why are you talking about other issues? And otherwise they will potentially encounter more challenges and crises. Well, what does that mean? That's nothing to do with the topic. What you need, sentence 1, your thesis statement, your topic sentence, however you want to call it, answer the question. So, what are you saying there, Coach? As a lot of aid money is stolen, simply sending cash does not work. Or something such as that, alright? But what you've got here, that's nothing to do with the topic. It's very, very general. It's very vague. It's not really what you're being asked. If a developed countries raise money to, so you say, right, so again, back to the question. Do you agree that they should give other type of help? And from what this seems to say, yes, you agree. So don't send them cash. Okay. So here you've got this sentence, numerous obstacles, okay, but we're specifically talking about one. Otherwise, they will potentially encounter more challenges. So that's how does that work? So they already have serious obstacles, but isn't that the same as challenges and crises? So that makes no sense at all. So if the other countries raise money to assist them, this will not probably solve their root problems. Okay, because what you've got to do now is tell me why. So not only are domestic are there, not only is there domestic mismanagement, corruption, and embezzlement, which is this. Well, you've already said that, so you don't need to say that again. So, because not only is there domestic mismanagement in this country, but also corruption and embezzlement, positive pronoun, which may worsen the situation. But it's already worse. Thereby, they different financial support, they require medical change management fields to fight corruption. So you're basically saying the same thing twice there. So that first sentence doesn't make any sense. Again, you've said the same thing in two slightly different ways. Then you say, well, it will probably not resolve. Okay, but you're supposed to be telling me why you agree. Then you say not only domestic management, corruption, if they are needs financial support, they are required to make radical changes. Okay, but you say, well, you say they need to be trained, but here you're talking about sending cash. So in your outline, again, this is, it's a bit confused here. So in your outline, you say, don't send them cash, they need to be trained. But you don't mention training. You simply say, well, we've got lots of problems. If we send them cash, it won't solve these because it'll be stolen. Okay. Or you're training? What? Okay. Further, the money and resources of countries should be invested in whose educational centres? Should be invested in the poorer countries, invested in the poorer countries, or educational medical improvement. So money and resources of countries should be invested in the poorer countries, educational and medical improvements or improvements in. But still, you'd have to say the poorer countries, because otherwise it says it's the well-off countries, they're investing in themselves. So that the governments ought to be So I'm not really clear what where the money should be. So are you saying now, right, as again the examiner is going to read this, line by line. So the money and resources in well-off countries should be invested in educational medical improvements. Where are you talking about? In the well-off countries or in the poorer countries? So that the governments ought to be answerable to their citizens who pay taxes on how their money is spent. So are you talking about the well-off countries or the poorer countries? That's not clear. Hence, taxpayers expect that official authorities spend the national budget on the development of the countries. So are you talking about the poorer countries? Now, as a result, I have no idea. I don't wish to be obtrusive. I have no idea what this paragraph is talking about. At first I thought you meant wealth countries should invest in the poorer countries, but are you talking about well-off countries? So I've got no, that's just not clear to me at all. I've no idea what that paragraph means. However, it said a moral obligation for the rich to get the payment of poor, the financial aid, and so I thought you were going to talk to me about some training. You said better education, healthcare, other infrastructures. Do you mention these? No, you don't. You say something about educational, medical improvements, but I have no idea. Do you mean wealth countries or poor countries or taxpayers? Are you talking about people in wealth countries who pay tax, who are not happy about spending aid on poorer parts of the world? Taxpayers expect that their authorities have the development of their own countries. So, very confusing to the reader. So you mention this, but you're talking about the developing parts of the world need better education system. But I'm not sure here if you mean the wealth countries or the poorer ones. Then you're talking about moral obligation. What's that got to do with anything? You say no. They need to be trained. But what training? So, eradicate issues. Right. The examiner, they're not going to waste a lot of time on this. Okay, so they'll go to task response first. All parts of the prompt, no. Is it clear? No. All parts of a prompt, well, not really, because you don't say. You say, where are we? So, rich countries, okay, I think poor countries need to be trained, okay, but you don't say anything about training. So, is it clear? No. Directly relevant. I don't want to go down too low, but sorry. I'll be generous for today and give it 6, but I think the examiner would have to give it 5 because we've no idea what you're talking about. It's not clear at all. Is there a logical organization? No. Clear progression? No. Clear central topic? No, it's not clear. It's just not clear. I have no idea, really, what this essay... There's some ideas, right? There's some ideas, but it's just not clear to the reader. I don't want to give it 5. Again, right, I'll be generous. Examiner may not be so. Okay. I'll give it 6. Again, examiner may not be as generous as I. However, there's some good vocab. There's some good vocab here. Some good vocab. I think it's good. There's some good, less common items. There's some skillful use of vocab. What shall I give it? 7 or 8. We've got some stuff. Moral obligation. Widespread famine and hunger. Betterment of their societies. There's some excellent vocab used quite appropriately. That vocab's good. The grammar, not too bad. Number of sentences without a mistake. Every sentences. Majority of sentences are error-free, I think. I'll give it 7 because you could have maybe extended the range a little, but the main thing is task response and coherence. It's just not clear what you're talking about. So, what's this? 6, 6, 12. What's this? 8, 20, 27. What's that? 13 and a half. So, it's like 6.25. I'll be generous. Examiner probably wouldn't. He would probably give you 6, but I shall give it 6. 6.5. Simply because it's just not clear, right? It's contradictory. It doesn't say that. There's no contrast there. You're talking about training. You're talking about this and this and this. It's just not clear at all. So, example. I'm not going to read through all this. I'll just scroll down so you can read it. But, okay, so it's basically the same, okay? To what extent? Okay, so sentence 1. Restate the topic. It's common and practice, however, it's unsuccessful, not working well, okay? To what extent do you agree? I agree it's unlikely to work. What are the factors ending the corruption? Okay, 2 sentences. Restate that, and I've got my opinion, and I'm going to be talking about the corruption. Okay, so main idea. Western countries spend a large percentage of GDP, however, it doesn't work. Example, connect it back up to your topic. Crisp or clear? I agree. Why do I agree? Because spending all that cash, the UN itself has said it doesn't work. Okay. What are the factors? So, it's corruption means that aid is stolen. Explain, example. Therefore, if we want to help people, we've got to scrutinise this cash and prosecute the corrupt officials. That's the other factor. The main factor, as I say here, is corruption. We've got to stop it. And then restate your topic and answer your question. So I'll just leave that there so you can have a look at it. Okay. So I don't mean to be overly harsh, but that's what you would probably get.